Xabi Alonso has just called time on a glittering career with league titles in multiple countries, European Championships and World Cups. He's played with some of the world's greatest players and has worked under some of the finest tacticians. And to think he was almost sold to make way for Gareth Barry. Let's have a look at the best 11 to have played with Xabi Alonso at club level. Manuel Neuer. Having played at some of the biggest clubs on the planet, it's no surprise that Xabi Alonso has played with some of the world's finest goalkeepers. And Jerzy Dudek. Iker Casillas is a worthy contender, arguably one of the all-time great shot stoppers. Manuel Neuer is in his prime, however, and is regarded by many as the world's greatest. Philipp Lahm. I know what you're thinking, where's Steve Finnan? However, Alonso wasn't the only one to hang up his boots, bowing out alongside Philipp Lahm, Bavaria's virtual one-club man. We'll just forget about that lone spell at Stuttgart. The former Bayern Munich and Germany captain has won 22 trophies, including the 2014 World Cup, and featured over 100 times for his country. To highlight just how consistent a fullback he was named in the team of the tournament for 5 successive international tournaments. Oh, and he was even turned into a midfield experiment under Pep Guardiola. Jerome Boateng. It seems slightly insane that Jerome Boateng lasted 1 season and 24 games at Manchester City before being bound back to Germany in 2011, especially considering their defensive troubles at the minute. Boateng has gone on to establish himself as one of the world's dominant defenders, winning 5 successive league titles with Bayern Munich and a Champions League. Oh, and he played a starring role as Germany won the World Cup. I wonder how City are getting on with John Stones. Sergio Ramos. What more can you say about Sergio Ramos? The man has won everything there is to win in football, and more often than not he's been at the centre of it. He scored in both of Real Madrid's last 2 Champions League wins, both over rivals Atletico. He became Spain's youngest ever player to reach 100 caps at the age of 27, but of course the real accolades are the 2 European Championships and the World Cup. When he arrived at the Bernabeu in 2005, many doubted whether he'd last, or whether he could even defend. Over 500 appearances, 68 goals, 4 league titles and 2 Champions Leagues. They're awfully quiet now. Marcelo. Opinion on Marcelo has been divided for years. Some hail him as the second coming of Roberto Carlos, while others claim that he needs to go and read a book on how to defend, pointing to Germany's 7-1 mauling of Brazil as a key demonstration. Both are massive over-exaggerations, and while the Brazilian is more comfortable attacking, he has improved immeasurably in defensive situations in recent years. He spent over a decade at the Bernabeu, winning 4 league titles, 2 Champions Leagues, and is undoubtedly one of the world's top left backs. Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard has said he was heartbroken when Xabi Alonso was sold in 2009. Well, wouldn't you be if you had to play with Alberto Aquilani instead? The former Liverpool captain is one of the modern greats, who underachieved massively when it came to putting silverware into what is now a dusty trophy cabinet. For God's sake, Luke Chadwick has won more Premier Leagues. Gerrard has made over 700 appearances for the club, hauled them to Champions League and FA Cup victories, virtually single-handedly, and probably hopes to never hear the name Dembaba again. Javier Mascherano. If you sign a player who can't get past Hayden Mullins in a struggling West Ham side, naturally you're not expecting much. This was no ordinary player though. Having rescued Javier Mascherano from the chaos of Alan Pardew at Upton Park, the Argentine established himself as a world-class defensive midfielder at Anfield. He only spent 3.5 seasons at Liverpool before leaving in 2010 to win everything inside of Barcelona, albeit as a centre-half, but is fondly remembered at Anfield for a midfield partnership with Alonso that almost inspired the club to a Premier League title in 2009. Luka Modric. When Luka Modric first joined Xabi Alonso at the Santiago Bernabeu in 2012, he was voted worst signing of the season by Spanish newspaper Marca. It's 5 years later and the Croatian is an integral part of the Madrid makeup. He's won the La Liga award for best midfielder on 2 occasions and helped the club to Champions League and La Liga successes. Cristiano Ronaldo. It was a toss-up between Ronaldo and Julian Faubert, but we're gonna go with the former. Sure, he probably needs some attention, doesn't he? It seems crazy that after 8 seasons, 404 goals and countless trophies, the Portuguese still gets booed by his own fans. Alonso urged Ronaldo to join him at the Allianz Arena last November. Arjen Robben could not be reached for comment. Fernando Torres. Karim Benzema, Robert Lewandowski, and that guy who used to thump his teammates with golf clubs, Xabi Alonso has played with them all. But when Fernando Torres was in his pomp, there were a few strikers who were better than him. For 2.5 seasons at Anfield, he was virtually unstoppable. He fired 65 goals in 102 games and struck up a wonderful partnership with Steven Gerrard in the final third of the pitch, which brought them to within a whisker of the title. It's just a shame that winning the World Cup seemingly made him forget the fundamentals to being a world-class finisher. Gareth Bale. Back when Gareth Bale couldn't win a game at Spurs for love nor money and was basically kept on the bench so the club wouldn't get relegated, Xabi Alonso probably never thought he'd one day be winning a Champions League with that kid. The Welshman only played 1 season with Alonso, but they did win a Copa del Rey and Champions League together, with the then world record signing scoring in both finals. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.